And good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our live stream session this morning, our chair yoga, de-desking, and our antidotes to our everyday postural issues where we may be sitting with clients for long periods or working at desks using devices, and we find that we have tension and aches and pains throughout our body. So using yoga as our modality to help us counteract those issues that we may find. So relaxing and strengthening around our shoulders, and the same along our spine and across our hips, and also looking at legs and feet as well. So when we're sitting, our legs and feet obviously not being used for long periods. So finding ways just to strengthen, to maintain our flexibility and mobility whilst using the chair for support. So we'll begin our session with our breath work. So engaging in breath work is recognized as a very safe way to slow down our heart rate and to lower our blood pressure, to allow ourselves to connect our mind with our body, and to bring forward our parasympathetic side of our nervous system, our rest and digest, as opposed to being in that higher register, our sympathetic nervous system, our fight and flight, where we tend to find ourselves a lot of the time. So in our working life and in just normal everyday life, we find situations which are stressful, demand our attention, and it's very easy to become stuck in that higher register, that fight and flight for longer periods. So engaging in breath work gives us the chance just to be still, just to connect again with our body, just to slow down, calm down. And then the combination, the breath work and the movement, is a really nice way to have a little short periods of self-care. So our session this morning then, bringing those two elements together. And if you're following along, that's absolutely perfect. And hopefully some things that you may find beneficial this morning, and some things you may be able to take forwards with you and use throughout your working day and throughout the time that you spend seating with clients, working at desks and so on. So if you're following along this morning, just a chair needed, nothing very fancy in terms of a prop. So I'm just using a very ordinary household dining chair. So ideally something without wheels, something that will really support your weight, and hopefully without armrests as well. So you've got a full range of movement from side to side. If you are opting to follow along this morning, then please just take care of yourself, very much listen to your body. If anything that I'm doing doesn't feel right for you, then just back off, rest a while, and then maybe join back in when you feel that you are wanting to, or whether it suits you again. And the same with the breath work as well. The breathwork techniques that we'll look at are really, really accessible and don't require any prior knowledge or experience. But again, if anything doesn't feel quite right for you and the way that you breathe, if your breath is feeling restricted at all, then just breathe in a very normal way and then join back in if you feel that you want to. So let's make a start. I'm going to sit back down into my chair and just finding a very comfortable way to sit as we come into our breath work. So my posture when I'm seated is active. but there's no stress and no strain in my body. So I'm sitting away from the backrest, so my spine isn't collapsing down. So slight activation in the abdominal muscles and a gentle lift up through the spine. So sitting up quite nice and tall, but at the same time, I'm aiming to relax my shoulders down, keeping my chest open and my abdomen free so I can breathe without restriction. So I'm opting just to put my hands on my knees, but your choice of wherever you might be comfortable. My feet are really nicely grounded down onto the floor. So having that touch through the feet makes you feel supported and also has that connection right the way through your feet and up to the top of your body. So we'll breathe just to start with, allowing ourselves to find our breath, noticing where our breath is sitting in our chest this morning. And there's absolutely no right and no wrong. We're just making these observations. Part of our yoga practice is just to notice our body without judgment and to invite ourselves to have this inquiry into how we're feeling and to explore our body and our mind and to connect the two together. So as we breathe, and inviting you to breathe through your nose if you're comfortable to do so, allow your nasal passages to do their work. So cleaning the air, filtering the air, giving a slight warmth to the air, giving some slight moisture, and really conditioning the air so it's in that prime state before it comes down into your lungs, rather than mouth breathing, which dries your mouth and just brings any bad particles, for want of a better word, directly down into your lungs. So nose breathing is by far the most healthy and efficient way if you're comfortable to use your nose when you breathe. So inhale and exhale. Just noticing where your breath is sitting. You may have a sense that you're breathing into the top part of your body, into your chest, or it may be down on your ribs, or maybe down to the bottom of your lungs and getting the sensation that your breath is right down in your tummy area. And we can try a 3-stage breath in order to try and draw that breath down a little bit further. So very simply, we are going to inhale a single breath, but in 3 parts. So we breathe in a little bit, like taking a sip of breath, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. So to start with, draw the breath into the chest area, and then a little bit more down to the ribs, and a little bit more right the way down to the bottom of the lungs, filling up our tummy as if it was a balloon, followed by a really long exhalation. So we'll inhale to chest, and then to ribs, and then down to our abdomen. Long exhale. And inhale to chest, and to ribs, and to abdomen. And exhale. And one more. Inhale, chest, and to ribs, and to abdomen. And exhale. So inhale, And a long exhale. So aiming to elongate our exhalations and therefore more quickly bringing forwards the parasympathetic side of our nervous system, our rest and digest, and helping us more quickly move away from that fight and flight. As we exhale, we can also think about relaxing our shoulders. We can soften through the jaw and relax the tongue. And just get the sense that we're getting a little bit heavier, a little bit softer through the body. So as we're breathing this morning, finding this period of stillness and quiet, it's very tempting to think forwards about our busy schedule ahead for the rest of the day and things that we have to do, all the demands that we may have. So as we breathe, we just acknowledge that all these things that we have to do, all the demands that we have, are really important things, but self-care is as equally important. And we recognize that when we have finished with this short period of self-care this morning, our breath work, our chair yoga movement, we will be able to come back to our busy schedule with more focus, increased productivity, and safe in the knowledge that we've taken a little time out just to look after ourselves. So we'll breathe again, and this time introducing a little hold in between the inhalation and the exhalation. So taking a little bit of focus into the breath. So an inhalation, maybe to the count of 4, holding for a count of 2, and then we exhale to a count of 5 or 6. If the hold of 2 doesn't feel right for you, feels a little too long, or your breathing feels restricted, then just breathe in a way that suits you best. So we'll inhale to 4. So in, 2, 3, 4, hold, hold, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, hold, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, hold, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, hold, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. One long inhale and exhale. Now, hopefully, after breathing, we've found a little bit of stillness, feeling a little softer in our body, able to notice how we're feeling, and we'll begin to move using our chair for support. So as we move, we're going to match our breath with the movement using, as a simple rule, an inhale for an upward movement and an exhale for a downward movement. We're trying to create space in our abdomen with our breath for when we're moving ourselves left to right, upwards and downwards, twisting and folding. So let's begin. We'll take an inhale and gently raise the arms up. Stretch up through the fingers, really straighten the arms, squeeze up through the fingers, lengthen up through the spine, through the shoulders, getting the sensation that the hips are gently lifting up off the chair. And then on your next exhalation, we'll gently float the arms back down again. And we'll come back up. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. And one more. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, arms float down to cactus position. So a couple of breaths here. Really nice de-desking pose is cactus arms. So we're opening the chest, we're drawing the shoulder blades together. And it's really the complete opposite of how we find ourselves normally every day when we're working at desks, with our shoulders rolled forwards, our arms forwards, and our back bent in a forward position also. So bringing the spine up and back, opening the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together. We're bringing a little bit of activation, strength through the shoulder muscles, through the tops of the arms. And exhale, drawing the hands around to the heart center. Really good. So let's introduce side twists. So using our breath, we inhale to start with, activate the muscles in the abdomen, squeeze upwards, find that space. And then as we exhale, we draw the shoulders round to the left-hand side. Positioning the right hand on the left knee and the left hand on the side of the chair. You can use them as a gentle hook to squeeze round a little further. Be gentle on the neck. We gaze over the left shoulder, looking as far behind us as we can. Just a couple of breaths here. And on the next exhale, we come back around to the front and we'll go on the other side. We inhale first, squeeze up through the abdomen. Exhale, twist around to the right. Left hand on the right knee, right hand on the side of the chair. Draw the shoulders round. Gaze over the right shoulder. And exhaling, come back around to the front. We'll inhale again, raise the arms up. And now we'll side bend. So starting with the left hand, sweeping the left hand back down to taking the side of the chair. The right hand stays up nice and tall, squeezing out through the fingers, then we tip over to the left. So using this left hand on the chair for support so we don't tip over, and squeezing up through the fingers, really stretching all the way across the right hand side of the body. And then we'll come up to the top. Left hand sweeps up on an inhale. Right hand sweeps down on your exhale. And we squeeze across to the right hand side. Really push out through the fingers. Lengthen and stretch across the left hand side of the body. Really nice. Going back up to the top. Both arms up. Exhale to cactus. Really draw the hands and the elbows back. Open the chest. And hands to heart. And bringing our hands back down to our knees. So we'll take a forward fold. Our first forward fold just allows us to draw the chest right the way across the tops of the legs, hopefully getting a little bit of a stretch across the lower back. So we use our hands for support. We have the fingers in and the elbows out. We take that inhale, lengthen up through the spine, and exhale, roll forwards. So the chest is across the legs. Allow the head to become heavy. So we're gazing backwards. And a couple of breaths. Allow our shoulders to drop down on our knees. Take an inhale. Have the chin on the chest as we bring the shoulders back up to the top, back up to seated. And just allow the head to come up last of all so we don't get any dizziness when we come back up. Really good. All right. So working our way through our body to activate and to stretch, to flex and to mobilize. Let's have a little bit of work on head and shoulders. So to start with, raising the arms back up to the top. On an inhale, squeezing up. I'm going to allow my right hand then to just float back down, not all the way, so just slightly away from the side of the chair, and it's going to act as a counterbalance. My left hand then comes right over the head, and my fingers are just above the left ear. My elbow then is going to act as a counterweight just to draw my head down nice and gently over to the left hand side. So take a really long exhale. Let go of the tension in the neck. Allow the head to be heavy and feeling that really nice long stretch across the right hand side of the neck, across the shoulder. And coming back up, so we allow the head to come back up. We raise both arms up, squeeze upwards, and the opposite side. So left hand then, left arm floats down, slightly away from the side of the chair. Right hand goes over the head, fingers at the top of the ear, and allowing the head to come over to the right hand side. Exhale. Shoulders relax down, head's heavy. Nice stretch across the left hand side of the neck. And coming back up. Left arm up, right arm up. Squeeze upwards. And then we'll float the arms down on the exhalation. Really good. All right, fantastic. So bring ourselves down to the hip area, and we're going to activate the tops of our legs and think about hip flexibility and mobility. So one of the things about working in a seated position all day long, working with clients, doing administration at a desk, is that we have very little movement through the bottom part of our body from the hips downwards. Top half of the body, we may move a little bit, but not as much as we would do when we're walking and being more active. So let's think about ways in which we can really easily and simply mobilize the lower part of our body whilst we're still sitting in a chair. Simple things we can do. So I'm just going to bring my weight forwards. So my pelvis is right on the edge of the chair. Gives me the opportunity then to more freely move my bottom part of my body, my legs and my hips. So just really simply, we're going to step our legs out to the side. So using my hands on the side of the chair, we're aiming to keep the chest up nice and tall and the spine really long as we lift the leg. So inhaling, lifting the right foot off the ground, we sweep the foot over to the side, opening up the hips, external rotation in the hips, and exhale and drop the foot down. And we'll come back. Inhale, lift the foot, sweep round, exhale, drop down. And on the left, inhale, lift the foot, come around to the side, exhale, drop down. Inhale, lift the foot, sweep round, and drop down. So we'll go a couple more on each side. So I won't guide this time. You can move in any way that feels right for you at any pace that you like. Just be conscious of your breath. So we're inhaling and lifting, sweeping round, and on the exhale, we drop down. And coming back, we do the same. So inhale, lift the foot, sweep round, and drop down, and cross over to the other side. So a couple more rounds in your own time, move in your own way, at your own pace. Really focus on the lift and really open up the hip. And remember to use your breath. Last side, bringing ourselves back to the front, really good. So we're going to forward fold again, this time opening up both legs, finding that nice space in the middle, just so we can intensify the forward fold and get a little more of an intense stretch across the lower back. We may also find that we're also activating the muscles across the tops and the insides of the legs. So we must really push down in the feet to support our weight as we go. So we've got options for hands as well. We can keep the hands on the knees for that little bit of extra support, especially when we're pushing back up. Or we can dive down, reach down, and touch the floor. So whatever suits you best, we'll take an inhale. And on the exhale, we'll float down into our forward fold. So stretching down with the hands. Once again, allow the head to be heavy. So we're gazing backwards, crown of the head to the floor. Pushing the shoulders back up, leaving the chin on the chest as we come up. The head comes up last so we don't go dizzy. Really good, fantastic. Now let's stretch out in different ways, using our legs for support, stretching, flexing all the way across the length of our body, and using the strength of the tops of our legs as we're going along. So I'm going to bring my left leg in so it's facing forwards, and my right leg is going to sweep further out to the right hand side and then straighten. So a little bit of adjustment in the chair so the hips and the pelvis feel comfortable. Starting off, my shoulders are facing forwards, directly above the knee. I'm going to inhale, raise my arms, lengthen up through the spine, and then my right hand is going to drop down and find my right knee. Gives me the opportunity then to walk my fingers down my right leg as we come into a side bend. So a gate pose for chair, stretching across, really pushing out again through the left fingers up above my head, stretching through the left-hand side of the body. And coming back up. So left hand up. Right hand sweeps up and joins it. And exhaling, drawing my hands to cactus. And round to heart center. I'm going to twist now as well. So twist and then forward fold, maintaining the legs in this position. So taking that inhale, lengthen up through the spine. We're going to twist the shoulders round to the right. And then inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, reach down the right leg with both hands. Stretch down. Allow the head to drop. And squeeze. Keeping the weight pushing down into the heel and on the left foot. Inhaling and coming back up. So reaching up. Shoulders come back up. We twist back round to the front. Bringing the right foot up. Sweep round. And we'll go on the left-hand side. So left leg then will lift and sweep around and then straighten out. Little adjustment in the chair. Make sure your pelvis is comfortable. The right foot in front there, nice and firm, supporting our weight, and on our heel on the left leg. So we'll take that side bend to start with. So inhaling, sweeping the arms up. On the exhale, the left hand comes down to left knee and we tip over to the left hand side. Really stretch the right hand side of the body. And coming back up. Right hand up, left hand sweeps up to join it. We'll exhale and bring hands down to cactus. And hands to heart center, coming around into that full body twist to the left hand side using the breath. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist around. And then stretching out. Both hands down the left leg. Head becomes heavy. And walking the fingers down. And coming back up. We'll inhale, raise the hands. Exhale to cactus. Hands to heart center. And bring the chest round to the front. We'll pick up the left leg and sweep it back round to the front. Really nice. So let's just work on a little bit of flexibility through the spine in a more dynamic way than just that forward fold, which becomes a static position. So bringing my hands onto my knees, and my pelvis is still at the front of the chair, so I've got a nice space behind me at the back. And the space at the back of the chair we're going to use in order to take a nice back bend in just a second. So we're going to start with a small forward fold, using the hands for support and bringing strength into the biceps as we are supporting our weight as we go down. So we'll inhale, and then on the exhale, we come forwards. So shoulders are above the knee. We're not going all the way down. And then we inhale, pushing back up. My hands are sliding past the hips to the back of the chair, drawing the shoulder blades together and then lifting the chest up. So bringing the chest up, pushing the belly forwards. So we have a back bend, raising the head, gentle on the neck, and then coming back forward. So the hands slide forwards to the knees, and we go into our half forward fold again. So if we're on a mat yoga session, this would be our equivalent to cat-cow. Flexing the spine, from a top position to a bottom position. As we're down here in the folded position, we're aiming to squeeze. So feeling as if we're trying to push the spine up to the ceiling, curve the spine upwards. And coming back up. Last time, shoulders back, hands back, push up the chest, push the belly forwards. And returning to neutral position. So we're back on legs. We're going to use legs, a twist, and a fold. So in a similar way that we did with our gate pose and pyramid pose on the side. So widening the legs once again. Activating the arms on an inhale, bringing them up into a T position. We get the sense that we're coming into the territory of warrior two, using the chair for support in a seated position. We'll twist round. The shoulders are coming round to the left-hand side, and we gaze forwards over the right fingers. So we can make sure that our right arm, right hand, is absolutely parallel with the direction of the right knee. So depending on how wide you are bringing your legs open, will correspond with the way that we're bringing our shoulders